Go. Now, first of all, you're going to want to load your sprites. You right-click, press Create Sprite. In this case, we're going to call it SPR underscore clown.
Hello YouTube, I am Arend Peter, and today is the 10th anniversary of my first video on YouTube. I haven't been too active recently, but I figured it would be a shame to miss this milestone, so I wanted to make a video for the event. The last time I made a milestone video like this was for my 100th video on YouTube, and that was like, I guess, 6 years ago now. That time I wanted to put the focus on the games I'd made during that period, but this time I'd like to put focus on the videos I've made, because I started learning GameMaker and learning programming in general about 6 months before I made my first tutorial, and now 10 years later I'm a full-time software engineer, and throughout the whole process I'd say that tutorials in many ways have been like a fuel for my development as a programmer. I've been trying to answer the question of what motivated me to make all these tutorials, all these videos, and I think that videos have largely been an overflow of whatever I've been excited about at that time. Whenever I'm excited about something, I naturally want to share it, and I not only want to, I guess, show it off to people, but I want to have them understand it in the same way that I do, so that they can really appreciate it the way I do. So I think that was largely my motivation for making tutorials. I think this diagram explains the trend of my videos pretty well. Here the flow is the state at which you're most excited, most satisfied in what you're doing. So as I got more skilled as a programmer, I needed to increase the challenge of the videos so that I could so that I could stay excited about it. I think this explains pretty well like why I never went back and made a basics tutorial. Like I didn't go back and make a basic GameMaker series because even though it appealed to a wider audience, it wasn't something I was excited about anymore. And I think this also highlights one of the problems with the standard school system, because any one class is going to have the same challenge, but it's going to have students across a wide range of skill levels. So some of them might be in that anxiety range, some of them might be in that boredom range. But because I was self-taught throughout the whole process, I was lucky enough to be able to maintain that flow state the whole time, where I was always excited about what I was doing. So my first tutorials were all drag and drop. There's basic drag and drop series, and then in my own project I slowly started to wean off of drag and drop to use more code. GameMaker lets you transition, make that transition really smoothly, like letting you, like initially I just initialize my variables in the creation by using code, but do everything else in drag and drop, and then slowly I got to the point where I would only use drag and drop for the most complex functions, and then eventually it was all code. And this reflected in my tutorials as well. I made a basic code series to share how it's definitely feasible to learn it, and it makes it makes the process much smoother. And then I kept making more and more complicated coding tutorials, and I never went back doing drag and drop. When you're first making games in GameMaker or programming in general, you kind of have to limit yourself to the most basic things, because anything else is just too much to fathom. But there's this really cool point where you can actually be, in the games that you're playing, like maybe I'm playing Age of Empires or something like that, I can start to see patterns, and I can think, oh wait, that's actually something I think I can do. And once you're at that point, the world just kind of opens up, and you have this cool feeling where you feel like you can do whatever you want. An example of a tutorial that I think fits this pattern is this tutorial where I was looking at the Google Doodle for the day, and they had this really cool animation with dots racing around in response to your mouse, and it had a fairly complicated pattern, but at this point I was thinking, oh, I think I can do that. So I recreated it in GameMaker, and I was so excited about the effect that I wanted to make a tutorial about it. So I made a tutorial how to recreate that Google Doodle effect. Another example is I was walking home from the bus one day, and I was thinking, what if I have one object moving towards another, but as it gets closer it rotates further away from the other one? So like getting closer, it's so initially it's going to get closer, but then rotating away means it's going to get further, which in turn means it rotates back. So I wasn't really sure how that effect would look, but I figured, hey, might as well try it. And little did I know at the time, I was essentially like recreating the way gravitational orbits work, and it created this cool effect of objects orbiting around each other. So I was so excited about that fact that I decided to make a tutorial about that as well. And then there was a certain point where I was kind of realized that the way I'm learning is through issuing myself a series of challenges, but it's not really the same as the way I'm teaching. I'm just telling them how to do it. So in order to better share the experience, I really need to be issuing homework. I need to be giving out challenges for people to learn the same way I do. So that's how my Tuesday Challenges series started. I made a series of 4 videos where I just showed them things that I've made, and I asked them to try and recreate it as an exercise for themselves. Up until now, I consider myself more of a game designer, but as you may be able to guess from the challenges that I've been referring to, I'm really more excited about the logical programming challenges than the actually making the games. So I slowly shifted from identifying from a game designer over to more of a strictly programmer. And this transition was sort of marked by me picking up Java. I initially started learning Java because that was the language that Minecraft was written in, and I was thinking, oh, if Minecraft's made in Java, maybe this is the language to know if you want to make more games. So when I initially started learning, I bought this book, Java in 21 Days, and I started reading through it, and I still haven't finished all of it, but I got through maybe like the first 2/3 over the course of a few months, and yeah, it was very satisfying getting into a more hardcore programming, learning about things like data types and having a better understanding of what's happening behind the scenes, and this experience really set in stone that transition from game designer to be more of a strict programmer. And naturally, the next step was to share my excitement and make a video series about Java and explaining all of the core concepts. After I finished my Java Beginner series, this also segued into my Java Swing series, where I showed how to make visual applications using Java, and those are actually some of my most popular videos. My most viewed video is actually the tic-tac-toe tutorial in Java, and that has about 150,000 views at this point. It seems kind of strange now, but when I went to college, I majored in math and environmental engineering. My thinking was I wanted to keep the programming stuff as a hobby because I didn't want to be spoiled by the pressure of school. But eventually I figured, I'm making games, I'm making tutorials, I'm an active member in the programming team, I'm taking computer science courses on the side whenever I can. I'm essentially spending 3 hours a day towards this hobby, and so maybe it is at a point where I should probably switch that to be the career. So that's when I switch over to computer engineering, and that's where I have my degree in now, math and computer engineering. Through the programming team, we mainly did these very theoretical Project Euler style micro challenges, and although I was really excited about it, I didn't end up making too many tutorial videos about it. I think the only one I have is probably the tutorial where I talk about this Sieve of Eratosthenes. That's where I talk about the algorithm to filter out prime numbers, and it was a very mind-blowing experience for me learning it for the first time. So back to the game side of things. Up until this point, my focus in GameMaker was to look for different effects that are in games and try and recreate them as challenges for myself. But it got to a point where anything that can be done within a few hundred lines, if it's possible to do it, then I'm pretty much confident that I'm capable of doing it. The directions for growth for me at this point are to either go into the very theoretical end of things, which is what I did with the A-star tutorial and the Perlin Noise tutorial, was to learn these algorithms that are used in games and figure out how to write them from scratch. And the other option I had was to put more focus on the skills involved with maintaining very large game projects, very large software projects in general. There were several tutorial series which highlighted these general software project skills. One of them was the Quick Tip series. Those were aimed to be shorter videos where I went over sort of a specific practice you could take on, which wouldn't really be helpful for smaller projects, but for larger projects, those habits would really pay off quite a bit. And I would say that my most recent tutorial also fell into this category. My most recent tutorial covered how to design a level select system, which is something that is very easy to do for smaller projects, but as you make a larger project, for example our binary dash game where we had just shy of 100 levels, for those projects you really need to put some more thought into how you design the level select system to make sure it's not too much of a burden to update it. So that whole video was talking about different design decisions you could make for a level select system. So that covers my whole tutorial for progression over the years. I thought it might be fun to throw in some fun facts as well for towards the end of the video. So one of the habits I had in college and also sort of now is that I'll sometimes like I'll generally have my beard grow out in cycles. I'll like have it grow out for a few months until it gets irritating. Then I'll shave everything off and then it'll cycle or repeat. So there's quite like a wide range of my beard and hair growth throughout the videos. There's at one point I also shaved my head, and there's like a video where I'm still like having it grow out from that. So there's that too. So yeah, so in the videos there tends to be like a large range there, and the one video the part where I was recording my face section, between cuts I trimmed the beard down. So this is a Space Invaders video. So there's a point in that tutorial where I had like my full beard, and then towards the end I had shaved the whole thing off, and I think that video has maybe 15,000 views, and I didn't receive a single comment on it. Nobody noticed the beard disappearing over the first few minutes of the video, so I thought that was kind of funny the way the psychology that works there. The other fact I thought was kind of fun to share is that my brothers each had cameos in my videos. Towards the end of my fill in the blank tutorial, Lucas came in to help me test the result. Perfect, okay. Alright, Lucas, let's make a story. Ready?
Okay.
Alright. What's your favorite color, Lucas?
Red.
Red. We have red here. What's your favorite thing to drink, Lucas? Has to be a liquid.
Soda.
Soda? That's fairly general.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Dr. Pepper. We can say Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. Name something people bring with them to school. Okay, you can type it down.
Drugs.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Okay. Towards the end of my replay goes tutorial, Charles came in to help me test the result.
Oh, you're forced to go right.
And it only dashes right. Yep.
So it does store how many orbs you
It's not very easy to see, but you can, if you grab one, it'll show up on top of you. See that?
Oh, yeah.
I need to change the color of that probably. Michael's the one who sort of got the most attention. In my Chatbot tutorial, I sort of made the tutorial based around how he speaks, or how he spoke back in high school. Hello, Michael.
Yes.
You know League's a terrible game?
You're a terrible game.
No, I really think League's a terrible game, Michael.
You're a terrible game.
And you're terrible at video games.
Why?
Because you play League.
Okay. Well, I'll beat you in any single video game.
Well, I think you're lucky to have that big screen as well.
You're lucky to have the big screen.
Well, I paid for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, do you know that your argumentative skills are so predictable I can make a program out of it?
You did.
I did? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna make a tutorial about it, do you know that?
I'm sure you are.
Okay, I'm gonna go get started on that right this instant. And also, back in high school, I used to record my videos in the common area with my brothers, and Michael would often be playing the game and completely overshadowing whatever I was saying because he had his headphones in and was unaware of his surroundings. So I made like a video featuring all the cuts I had made of him playing League in the background, and me having to repeat phrases over and over again. Trying to go downwards, but if it can't go downwards, it'll slowly...
I figured that was worth a shot.
It'll slowly move direction.
It would have been a better shot if I had my ult.
It'll slowly move the direction more to the left until we find...
I used it earlier.
It'll slow...
Like, they were not as little as I thought they would be.
Yeah, I kind of made fun of League in those days, but I got into it for a few years, and it was fun for a while for me as well. So to finish off for this video, I think I like to talk about So given what we talked about, what's the future of this channel going to look like? So now that I have a full-time software job, I'm not as excited to make programming tutorials in my spare time, and as I've kind of emphasized throughout the video, that excitement for what I'm teaching is really what's key to me making the videos at all. But that doesn't mean that the channel is going to die. The channel, when I renamed the channel, I purposely chose Arend Peter Teaches, so that way it wouldn't necessarily be specific to programming. And I have had videos that, aside from just my programming videos, I've made tutorials about Rubiks Cubes, which is one of my other passions. I also made a series featuring one of my Minecraft projects. Another video that I'm really proud of is I made a video essay summarizing one of the courses I took in college. So like I thought the course I enjoyed the course so much that I wrote out a script, and then I made that video essay from that script. I actually tried to be in the habit of writing scripts for each one of my classes throughout that period of college, and unfortunately the animation was too much effort. So even though I have a lot of scripts for other classes, I haven't taken the time to make animations with all of them, but that maybe I'll want to do that in the future. I'll see. And I've even done a few vlogs. I made vlogs talking about like my religious views at the time, and creativity and education, and those were kind of fun to make, and they felt consistent with my channel because that's what I was excited about at the time. So moving forward, who knows what videos I make. There's still other things that I have in my mind that I maybe will share, but we'll just have to see. I mentioned earlier that there was a point where I switched from identifying as a game designer over to a programmer, and now that I'm not spending my free time growing as a programmer as much, I'm starting to thinking of how else I can identify and what other directions can I grow. So whatever I choose, that will be like the could be like the next focus of the channel. So we'll see. Yeah, it's been pretty cool 10 years making the videos and interacting with you guys, and we'll see if it keeps going. So thank you so much for watching and listening to me chat about my life, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.